Hi everyone, welcome back to Design Craft channel. Today I'm sharing my last Halloween design. This time, Hello Kitty has transformed into a mysterious black cat, carrying a skull in her arms. Do you think she'll charm her way into getting more candy? Or maybe she's casting a spell while sitting upon her pumpkin throne. This pattern is exclusive for members right now, and you're among the lucky ones to witness it. Each detail is a little different from the previous Hello Kitty designs, so prepare your yarn and hook, and let's begin this enchanting crochet together. Here are the tools you'll need for this video. 4-ply cotton yarn from Susan's Family, a 3mm hook, a stuffing tool, a pair of scissors, a needle, a pair of 7mm oval shape eye bead and 1 3mm nose bead. Alright, let's start making Hello Kitty's spooky little hoodie. First, make 6 chains. For round 1, begin with a chain, then work 1 increase into the back bump of the very first foundation chain, an increase just means 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Next, work 4 single crochets across. In the very last chain, make 3 single crochets all in 1 stitch. Now we are moving to the other side of the foundation chain. Here, we'll crochet into both loops of each chain. Work 5 single crochets across. When you get to the end, make sure your last single crochet is inserted into the same stitch where we did that first increase at the beginning. Finish off this round with a slip stitch to the first stitch, and you should now have a total of 14 stitches. Don't forget, we'll always start each new round with a chain and end with a slip stitch to keep it neat and even. Let's move on to round 2. Work 2 increases right at the beginning. You can place a stitch marker in the very first stitch of each round to help keep track. Next, make 4 single crochets across. In the next 3 stitches, we're going to do 3 increases in a row. Continue with 4 single crochets and finally in the very last stitch, work 1 increase. Slip stitch to the first stitch to close. By the end of this round, you should now have 20 stitches. Now let's begin round 3. Start with a chain. Work 1 single crochet and 1 increase and repeat that sequence once more. Then make 4 single crochets. Next, do the sequence 1 single crochet, then 1 increase, and repeat that 2 more times. Continue with 4 single crochets. In the last 2 stitches, work 1 single crochet and 1 increase. Slip stitch to finish this round, and that gives you a total of 26 stitches. Alright, let's begin round 4. Start with a chain, work 1 increase, then 2 single crochets, and repeat that sequence once more. Next, continue with 4 single crochets. Then do 1 increase, followed by 2 single crochets, and repeat that sequence 3 times. After that, work 4 single crochets, and finally end with 1 increase. single crochets, slip stitch to the first stitch to close. At the end of round 4, you should have 32 stitches. Now on to round 5. For round 5, follow the written pattern to complete the piece. By the end of this round, you should have 38 stitches. From rounds 6 to 12, work 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way around. This will build up the height of the hoodie nice and evenly. Now in round 13, we'll start shaping the hoodie down with some decreases. Start with 1 invisible decrease. To do this, insert your hook into the front loops of the next 2 stitches. Yarn under and pull through, then yarn under again and pull through both loops on the hook. That's 1 invisible decrease. After that, work 3 single crochets. Repeat that sequence once more. After that, crochet 4 single crochets. Next, do 1 invisible decrease followed by 3 single crochets. Repeat this 3 times. Then work 4 more single crochets. Finally, 1 last invisible decrease and 3 single crochets to finish. To fasten off, cut the yarn and thread it onto a yarn needle. Weave the needle into the second stitch of the round, then insert it down through the top of the very last stitch you made. This creates a seamless finish. Next, let's move on to crocheting the head. This part will feel very familiar because after finishing the hoodie, the head follows a very similar pattern. Just continue working along and follow the written pattern all the way up until round 12 to complete the base of the head. Next, let's place the facial features. Start with the nose bead. Position it right in the center, between round 10 and round 11 of the head. For the eyes, place them between round 9 and round 10, leaving about 6 stitches of space between the 2 eyes. This spacing will give Kitty her balanced and cute expression. After placing the nose and eyes, secure them from the inside. Use a lighter to gently melt the ends of the safety backs, then press them flat to lock everything in place. This will make sure the features stay nice and secure. Now let's move on to round 13 where we'll start shaping the head down. Begin with 1 invisible decrease, then follow with 2 single crochet. Repeat that sequence once more. Next, work 4 single crochets across. From here, make 1 invisible decrease followed by 2 single crochet, and repeat that sequence 3 times. Then crochet another 4 single crochets. Finally, work 1 invisible decrease and 2 single crochet to finish the round. The slip stitch into the first stitch to close. By the end, you should have a total of 26 stitches. For round 14, simply follow along with the written pattern to complete this round. Next, go ahead and fill the head with polyester fiber. Add a little at a time so the shape stays nice and even. Finally, let's close up the hole. Pass it through the very first stitch, then weave across in a flat line, inserting the needle through the front loop of one stitch and then the back loop of the stitch directly opposite. Once it's closed up neatly, secure and hide the yarn tail inside. After that, let's embroider the whiskers. Using black yarn, stitch them neatly across rounds 8 through 11, making sure they're even on both sides of the face. Next, let's crochet the ears. Start with 5 single crochets into a magic ring. Once you're done, pull the yarn tail tight to close the ring. Then slip stitch into the very first stitch to end the round. For round 1, chain 1, then work 1 increase, followed by 2 single crochets. Next, make another increase and finish with 1 single crochet. Slip stitch to the first stitch. That gives you 7 stitches in total. For round 2, chain 1 again. Work 1 increase, then 3 single crochets. Follow with 1 increase and finish with 2 single crochets. Slip stitch to close the round. Now you'll have 9 stitches. And that's it. The ear is complete. Go ahead and make one more using the same pattern so Kitty has her full set of ears. Alright, now let's move on to Kitty's ribbon. First, make the ribbon center. Start with 7 single crochets into a magic ring. To fasten off, cut the yarn and thread it onto a yarn needle. Weave the needle into the second stitch of the round, then insert it down through the top of the very last stitch you made. Next, let's shape the bow itself. Begin with a foundation chain of 6. For round 1, chain 3, then insert your hook into the back bump of the foundation chain. In that very first stitch, work 1 double crochet, one treble crochet, and 1 double crochet, all into the same spot. In the next stitch, work 1/2 double crochet, then continue with 2 single crochets. And another 1/2 double crochet. In the very last stitch, we're going to build up the other side of the bow. Work 1 double crochet, one treble crochet, two double crochets, one treble crochet, and one double crochet, all in that one stitch. Now, rotate your work to the opposite side of the chain and insert your hook under both loops. In the next stitch, work 1/2 double crochet, then 2 single crochets, then 1 more 1/2 double crochet. Finally, in the very last stitch, which is the same one we used for our starting cluster, work 1 double crochet and 1 treble crochet. cut the leftover yarn and weave it in neatly. Weave the needle into the second stitch of the round, then insert it down through the top of the very last stitch you made. After that, weave the yarn tail to the middle so it will be easier to sew later. And that's the ribbon done. Sew them together with the small magic ring piece in the middle, and there you have it, Hello Kitty's signature ribbon, ready to go. Now let's crochet the body. Start by making a chain of 5. For round 1, chain 1, then work 1 increase into the back bump of the foundation chain. In the next 3 stitches, make 1 single crochet each. In the last stitch, work 3 single crochet all in the same stitch. Now turn to the other side of the chain. Insert your hook into both loops and make 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. In the last stitch, work 1 single crochet right where we did the first increase at the beginning. Slip stitch into the first stitch to close. You should have a total of 12 stitches. For round 2, chain 1, work 2 increases, then 3 single crochets, three increases, three single crochets, and 1 increase into the last stitch. Slip stitch to close. That gives us 18 stitches in total. For round 3, just follow the written pattern. For rounds 4 and 5, make 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around. That's a total of 24 stitches. For round 6, chain 1, work 2 single crochets, then 1 invisible decrease. Repeat this pattern 6 times around. Slip stitch to close. You should have 18 stitches in total. For the following rounds, just continue by following the written pattern. Next, let's make the tail between rounds 4 and 5. Find the center point, then insert your hook and secure the yarn with a knot. Work 5 half double crochet puff stitches all in the same spot to form a fluffy little tail. Once done, cut the yarn and hide the end inside. And here the body is done. Next, let's work on the hands. Start with a magic ring, make a knot, and work 6 single crochet into the ring. Slip stitch to close. For round 1, chain 1, then work 1 increase and 5 single crochet. Slip stitch to close. You should have a total of 7 stitches. From round 2 to round 5, simply work single crochet in each stitch all the way around. Make another hand following the same pattern. Now, let's move on to the legs. Just follow along with the written pattern and make 2 pieces. After finishing, use yellow yarn to embroider the paws for a cute touch. Next, let's crochet the skull. Begin with 6 single crochet in a magic ring. Then slip stitch to close. For round 1, work 6 increases. That gives you 12 stitches. From round 2 to round 4, make single crochet in every stitch. In round 5, work 2 single crochet. Then 4 invisible decreases. And 2 single crochet. Slip stitch to close. That leaves you with 8 stitches. Now fill it with polyester fiber. For round 6, fold the piece in half and work 3 single crochet, inserting your hook through both layers. Cut the yarn, leaving a tail for sewing, and use that to close and secure. The skull is now complete. Next, take some black yarn and embroider the eyes neatly between round 3 and round 4. Finally, let's crochet a little ribbon for the skull. Start with a magic ring. Then make one single crochet. Chain 4 and slip stitch back into the ring. Chain 4 again. And slip stitch into the very first single crochet you made. Cut the yarn and fasten off. Use the leftover yarn to wrap tightly around the middle to form the bow shape. And there you have it. The cute little ribbon for the skull is all finished. Now that all the Hello Kitty parts are complete, let's start assembling them together. Before placing the head into the hoodie, add a bit of polyester fiber inside to give it a nice firm shape. Next, sew both ears between rounds 8 and 9 on each side, and you can use purple yarn to embroider a little triangle detail on the ears. Sew the ribbon onto round 12 of the head. For the body, attach the legs between rounds 3 to 6, then join the head and body together. After that, sew the hands onto both sides. And finally, attach the skull to the hand so it looks like Hello Kitty is hugging it. And that's it. Our adorable Halloween Hello Kitty is all done. For the pumpkin she's sitting on, you can check out my previous video. I'll leave the link below. And there you have it, our spooky cute Hello Kitty in her Halloween hoodie, complete with ribbon, ears, and little skull accessory. I hope you enjoyed making this project with me. Don't forget to check out my Halloween series of Hello Kitty in the link below if you'd like to complete the full Halloween set. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.